So unless you've been living under a rock, you'll probably know that it's the... Oh my god. Peter Mayhew is dead. Sorry, I was about to talk about the local elections in the United Kingdom as well as the failed coup in... Why is my mouse doing that? Right, it stopped, good. And the failed coup in Venezuela. But Chewbacca actor Peter Mayhew is dead, aged 74. That's sad, isn't it? Another one bites the dust. So now we're going to have to... Oh, the Chewie cameo. Oh. I mean, was he even played by Peter Mayhew now? In the new films? They had to, right? Surely. 74. That's not bad for a 7'3" guy. You know, those tall people. I mean, I myself, as everyone knows, I'm 7'6", 380 pounds. Just absolute muscle. But I plan to live a long time. So yeah, it's the local elections. I went in today. Boo. The fact, right, I'm worried that UKIP didn't have anybody standing in my area. Of course I'd avoid UKIP. I don't like the Conservative sort of aura about them, and especially the Brexit. The Brexit Party is beyond just... it makes me sick. But very conservative, to bring a phrase back from 2016. But I don't... The parties available were the Liberal Democrats, Conservative, Labour, and the Green Party. That was it. I couldn't believe it. I was like, where's my protest vote? Like, I voted Greens. And I completely... Like, you should be able to change your mind afterwards and ring up and be like, just destroy my ballot, please. Like, I wish I didn't do that. I was just in shock. And I was just looking at it, and I was like... It's the only one. It's the only one that isn't, you know, the main dreadful, horrible, globalist three. But I voted the fucking Greens. I'm gonna end up fucking banning plastic or something. Ugh. But, I don't know, I was furious that UKIP... I've heard that there were standing loads of candidates, and the fact that they didn't have the insight to put them in my area, which is particularly, it would be ideal. It really would. I should have stood. That's the main problem here. I could have been a councillor tomorrow. I probably would have. That's the sad thing. Like, this is the problem. Is like, I never know who's running in these elections. I could have won at least 3 of these fucking things just by because I know more people in the area than these horrible, dreadful candidates who are just the worst, most boring, terrible, just average people with secret communist ambitions. I hear that UKIP are doing quite well in Sunderland. I think Labour's still holding the majority there somehow. Looking right now at certain, there are early results coming in. It's 1 in the morning. I mean, these are early results. Usually it's at least a couple of hours from now. But St Anne's in Sunderland, I assume that's an area of Sunderland where UKIP's coming out on top. 34.8% of the vote. It's probably like 20 people. Labour 32.9%. I mean, these are just local elections, but let's get it going. If they win an absolute bunch of seats, it's good. Next I want to talk a little bit about the Maduro thing. I will keep you updated with any result. Ooh, Hartlepool. Hartlepool's coming through. Independent +3. Not terrible, independents. Fair enough. Independent candidates are always... I always prefer them to party candidates, to be honest. If you ever talk to them, they're always more interesting people. Much more interesting people with real ideas. Labour, second with 3. And they've lost 7 seats. That's hilarious. Labour are getting absolutely hammered. absolutely hammered. And do you know what they'll do? Ignore it and just continue on with this progressive agenda. Just keep pushing for acceptance in the customs union and further integration. They'll never learn. They don't care. Once again, they don't care. UKIP have 1 seat, which is 1 more than they had before. For Britain, I think that is FBR. That is for Britain, isn't it? They've gained a seat. VPP. What the F word is that? And Conservatives have kept a seat. Oh yeah, FBR is for Britain, and VPP is the Veterans and People's Party, which I love the sound of. I might have a new party. Veterans and People Party, that is a great party. I've always said one party needs to embrace the military, like completely embrace it to the point where it's almost its, aesthetic. That way leads victory, political victory. People will just follow them. People will follow men in suits. And I don't mean like traditional horrible suits. People retweeting socialists on my timeline. Of course, they're not real socialists. The current, Labour supporters, and that is what they are. The Labour supporters, just like the people who have stuck with the Conservative Party. They're just supporters, like Manchester United supporters. They really care. They really care about the club and the history and stuff like that. But that's all they really care about. They're just supporters. They'll support them no matter what happens. They'll support them whether they're good, whether they're bad, whether they're wrong, whether they're right. So this Robert guy says, UKIP just gained a seat from Labour. My night is ruined. Good. Fucking good. Third place in a Sunderland seat. Tories at 5th place. Tories again, just ham. Tories are basically like not a party in these elections. Yeah. Just looking at all these, man, people are just pissed. Ryhope in Sunderland result, UKIP number 1 with 32.5%. Labour second with 30. Why are I still don't understand the support for Labour. I really don't. There's not that many immigrants here, and who else do they? Well, I know what it is really. It's the same reason that where is it? Where is it again? That there's a place that has like in the country that has a notoriously low voting output. It's just because it's always Labour, isn't it? And that's what a lot of these seats are like. Labour safe seats. Everyone knows about them, and they'll just always vote Labour. It's just they've just bought into the evil Tory meme, and I don't like Tories. Okay, fucking disgusting weaklings, invertebrates, who don't seek to conserve anything other than all the social progression and liberal ideology of the previous and then succeeding liberal governments, who shift all the dynamic, all the values of the country. They shift it left. The Tories get in, they just hit the pause button. They don't try to reverse. They don't try to fight their point. They do nothing. They do nothing but capitulate like weaklings, worms, fish food. That's all they are. Fish food. And now they're getting treated like they deserve. They're getting knocked around the kitchen in the way that they deserve. And unfortunately, these people still vote Labour to go against them cause it's the bedroom tax, innit? And they'll stop me bennies. They'll stop me benefits. Labour make sure I get me gyro. Labour make sure I get my shut the fuck up. Get your fucking grip, you needy, pathetic nothing. Sorry for letting my real feelings come out there. Still watching these election results come in Again, obviously all the panic in the media coming out. Can't believe a party are getting voted in who have candidates standing who joked about the Holocaust. Oh, the Holocaust. Don't joke about the Holocaust. We mustn't joke about the Holocaust. You know what the worst thing about Auschwitz was, don't you? The Dachau. That wasn't a good joke. But I did just make it up. Hetton Sunderland result is Labour comes out first at 33.3%, but they're down at 20.3%. That is devastating. Independents are up most with 21.6% independent candidates. Has nothing to do with. I mean, they might stand for Brexit or against Brexit. They're just independent candidates. Independent of it. Everyone knows what independent means. It's just confusing because obviously we're trying to get independent from the European Union. UKIP are second with 28.7%, but they are down 5.3% in the vote. People really have rained on the independents and the others, as well as the Greens. Obviously, unfortunately to say, my comrades in arms there. I can't believe I voted the Green Party. I'm a proper lefty. I've voted for the Green Party. I can never say that I've never voted for them now. Why I didn't just write something crude on it, just ripped it up, just, had my say. Brexit now! All over it, spoiling it. I will admit that I was slightly scared to do that because I know how these scumbags work. And they'd be like, well, the B started in the Labour box, so we'll just count that as a Labour vote. Fucking, you're not doing that, scumbags. I even took my own pen. Yeah. Nice try, Fritz. So yeah, quickly, the thing with Maduro anyway, and the whole coup, Guido, whatever his name is, the CIA's man on the ground. There has never been a clearer, this is our man. So he's on the ground and they're trying all the old tricks that worked in Libya and stuff. Their aim was to have Maduro come out of his palace and get sodomized with a stick like Gaddafi in front of the whole world. You see, that's what happens when you go against the democratic West. These leaders, these centrists, these sensible non-extremists, these people who stand against extremism and hatred in all its forms and stand up for our values, our inclusive values. But you fuck with us and, we'll start a revolution in your country. We'll make sure you get sodomized and then your children are all murdered. Because really, in reality, we just hide behind those tested words while, the psychopath lays beneath, within the abyss. Monsters. Real life monsters. Anyway, so they wanted that to happen, but they probably wanted that to happen. Okay, that was the sort of best case scenario. I was like, holy shit, they fucking actually did the revolution. They did it on May Day. Okay, they started up on May Day. It was a complete failure. Like 300 people attended to take over the country. Like 6 soldiers were with him. They had all these like tight photographs. Even the thing where he was making the call to arms on TV or wherever he made the call. I don't know where that video was broadcast. But he had his little call to arms telling people to come to the streets and basically take over the country. And behind him there were like these soldiers and stuff, and he claimed that they'd taken over a military base, an air force base, which Maduro denies. It didn't seem that happened. There were images that all the media, all the world's darling press, the darling media, the mainstream darling media, repeated over and over and over and over and over and over again, of these couple of soldiers arresting some of Maduro's what appeared to be soldiers at an outpost or something, or some checkpoint that they'd set up. It seemed to me, because I was looking at it, I was like, first of all, right, they had no cover, and they're approaching like the front of these vehicles. These soldiers saw these guys coming miles off, So they obviously just they were like, it's our guys, it's our soldiers, and then these guys got so close, pulled the guns on them, and apprehended them and arrested Maduro's forces. Then they just kept showing these images over and over, try to implement the meme that this is good. There's a coup ongoing. We're making progress. Let's get out. We try to get people excited. Try to get people confident. No one wants to be the person to stand up against the regime. But if you think you're going to go out there in a crowd of 100,000 people, the military on your side, there's arrests being made by your guys, the armed forces are with him. It was all bullshit. The people could have been murdered. People were murdered. You saw the government, Maduro's government made the crackdown and everyone went crazy. It was disgusting to see people get run over by military trucks and stuff like that. But what was going to happen? That's what happens. That's what would happen in the United States if there was a coup attempt. That's what would happen in London if there was a coup attempt. Who were the people calling for the coup? Who were the people who set this coup up to happen on May Day? It was so contrived. It was so obvious. He uses all the same gestures and phrases that all these globalist puppets use. He's just Macron. He's Macron of Venezuela. That's all he is. He's the same type of person, the exact same type of person. He holds all the same beliefs, all the same values, and he never held them for himself personally. They're just things he's told. He's coached to say these things and look sincere while he's saying them, but it doesn't rub off anymore. People don't buy it anymore. It's people, I don't know what it is. It's like the illusion's been broken. The transmission's not getting to the brain. People see these people and they're just like, you're not being sincere. There's something about your micro expressions that tells me you're not being sincere to me. And they're right. So tens of thousands came outside, you know what I mean, gathered outside of the presidential palace, Maduro's again, and once again, by the way, I need to clear up, I'm not a fan of Maduro at all. Horrible regime, terribly run economy, needless suffering enacted on all the people, but this Guido guy is not the answer. He is worse. He is worse, okay? Will things economically get better? Probably in the short term, because the United States will, and the World Bank and that are just dying. Here, take this fucking $17 billion loan. Oh, yeah, that's run out pretty quickly. Here's a $200 billion loan. What, you can't pay it back? That oil's ours. Nice way to make a quick $3 trillion, isn't it? Like, that's all this is about. And not even just the oil. I mean, it's a big part of it, but people don't understand. When you're talking about, like, I don't know what you'd class it, or whether these classifications are relevant at all, but when you talk about first world, third world countries, it's either low first world or second world country. There's a lot of money other than just, they do have, like, business sectors and corporations and stuff. There's more value to a country than just the oil. You get the ports, you get the airports, you make money forever. So they want to cut it up, they want to sell it off, and for that I support the Maduro regime, although of course my preference, if it matters at all, which it doesn't, would be that the people overthrew him and implemented their own people's nationalist government. But that won't happen. Not now that the Americans are meddling. It will be one or the other. Depends how far John Bolton can pull the strings of Donald Kushner. John Bolton, the Monopoly man from the Warhawk Neocon edition of Monopoly. Every time I see that man, I just want to... I don't even know. It's lunacy that he's walking around. He's like a walking cartoon character. A villain. He's a real modern day villain. They used to call people that in the 1800s. A villain. So I think that the CIA basically sent him out there knowing that it probably wouldn't be that much of a big coup. You know, maybe it would. Maybe it would set off. Great. Take over the country quickly. But much better is we get this stupid idiot that we've coached to go out there, try to trigger this thing off. Then we'll show all the images all around the world looking like there was some sort of, at least a like real attempt made. Soldiers on the ground arresting some Maduro soldiers. Tight shots of him with military men behind him. Crowd shots. And then, oh no, evil tyrant Maduro came in and shot him dead. You know, and rounded them up and arrested the people. There were deaths and stuff like that. And I read a very good article. You can probably find it through a Google search. Google search Guido Worthmore dead than alive or something like that. Guido, whatever his name is. Basically about this thing. I didn't copy. I already had the thought. But this reaffirmed it. That he is worth more to them dead than alive. If he died, he'd be a martyr. And especially in the sort of like socialist and, you know, revolutionary countries, that means a lot. Another leader would rise up, they'd be able to groom, insert someone else. So I'm wondering what this guy thinks now. If he's smart, he'll realise what they did here. You know, it was him that was going to end up with the fucking stick up his ass, walking through the streets. It'll be interesting to see where things go from here. This is, what, like the 4th failed coup by the United States in Venezuela? They had one successful one. It is crazy. What have they got there, man? They got like the Ark of the Covenant down there or something. It's not just the oil. Anyway, so that's everything for today. Nice, quick, short, slim, thin, fast, quick, agile, sure. None of this 1 hour lark. 22 minutes on the dot.